I'm Natalie, I'm the Product Marketing Manager for 𝘁𝗱𝗲, and I'm here today to take you through just the kind of initial key features that it will be good to share with your customers when you've installed 𝘁𝗲𝗲 in their homes. If you've got any questions, then just please put them on the chat, and we'll do our best to answer. I'll probably answer them at the end because it's not refreshing very well, so it's hard for me to follow them live, but I'll do my best. So just before we get going, obviously you can see I don't really have the same facilities that James has got. My studio is not quite up to scratch. My phone's actually balanced on 𝘁𝗿𝗱𝗲, 𝘁𝗿𝗱𝗲, and a couple of rad stats. So if the tower collapses at any point, then I do apologise, but I'll do my best to get it built back up. It also means the screen is slightly blurry, so I'll do my best to make sure that you can see everything as we go through. But maybe at the end, if you need me to zoom in on anything, I can try to take the phone off the stand and get it a little bit closer. Just give us a shout. So I'm just going to start by kind of talking through the home screen. So what you've got at the top is the weather of the location of the customer's home. You've got the insights tile, which when you click into that gives the customer a good overview of their heating activity, and it also tells them how much energy they've been saving through using 𝘁𝗲𝗲. Not going to go into detail on that today, but we will cover it in later sessions. Then you've got settings, which is where you can make a lot of changes, and then also the account menu is little person. Obviously I'm doing this backwards, so it's a little bit difficult. So the first feature I wanted to show you on the home screen is reorder rooms. So when the customer has a room list, up until about a month ago it was fixed based on however you set that up within their home. What we've recently introduced is the reorder rooms function. So what that means is if customers have got, like I have got quite a few rad stats that go off the screen, you're able to reorder them. It's really easy to do. All they need to do is hold down the room. You'll see it slightly reduce in size, and then you can drag it across. So for me, for example, usually I have my office at the top, especially with everything going on. I'm spending a lot of time at home, so just those rooms that I'm kind of using during the week, I like to have near the top. Some people like to have hot water at the top, and you can drag and drop hot water exactly the same as you can as any of the other rooms. So if I just show you, I've got my hot water at the bottom, but you can just treat that like any normal room, and you can drag that up and down. So that's kind of the home screen. So if we go into one of those rooms, so if I go into, can't see what that is, the kitchen. If you want to adjust the temperature, what the temperature you're seeing in the middle of the circle is the current temperature in that room. If the customer wants to manually adjust it, all they need to do is use the scroller across the bottom. So if we say I just want to push up this temperature a little bit now, so want it to go up to 19.5. What we'll then see is a flame, and that shows that the room is now calling for heat. And you'll also see that flame in the room view. If you're setting a temperature manually and you're in manual mode, that temperature will persist consistently until the customer decides to turn it off. If you're in a scheduled mode and you adjust that kind of out the schedule, it will remain at that temperature until the next event in the schedule kicks in, and then it will go back to schedule. So just something to be aware of: if the customer is in manual mode, they need to physically go in and turn it off if that's how they're going to use the system. And you can see, sorry that my head is coming so close to the screen, but you can see here whether the customer is in manual or scheduled mode. Schedule will always be the little calendar, and manual is kind of a hand, which is doing that, which obviously you can't see on my screen. So that's to manually adjust the temperature. Another way to adjust the temperature would be to boost. There's 3 different ways that you can boost. So the first one is to go back into that same room view and individually boost the room. You can also boost the whole system in one go, and then you can also boost from a device. So if we say first, we will boost from the room view, go into the room as we previously did, and then the circle to the left is the boost button. So what that then gives you is different time periods. So within the app, you've got the option of 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours. And you can click any one of those and it will boost the system by 2 degrees for that set time period. So if we say we want to boost for 2 hours here, you'll see then back in the room view that it's calling for heat, and that will do that to increase by 2 degrees for the next 2 hours. So that's the individual way to boost. Then you can boost the whole system. This is quite a good one to show customers because it is quite subtle. So there's a little arrow. I don't know if you can see it on my screen, but at the bottom. And when you click on that arrow, it pulls up the actions menu. Within the actions menu, you've got the ability to put the system into away mode, to boost, and then also to cancel all overrides. So if the customer has been kind of fiddling around manually adjusting set points using boost rather than a schedule, they can always cancel all of that in here. But if we then click boost, we'll boost the whole system for 1 hour. So that's a set time period. So it was only 1 hour for 2 degrees, but you'll see now I've clicked that, my whole system, apart from the hot water, has boosted. And then the other way to do it is by using a device. So if within the room you've got a radstat, the customer can twist the radstat, and as soon as it goes red, that means that it's boosted, and that will boost again for 1 hour by 2 degrees. You can also boost down, but I think most people tend to boost up. And that's just really good if the customer doesn't want to use the app, they're not near the app for whatever reason, they've still got some control over it within the room. So that's readjusting the temperature and boost. And then if we talk about kind of how you set schedules now rather than manually adjusting the temperature, there's 2 ways to set a schedule. So the first is, again, within the room view. So if you go into the room view, what you'll see is a circle on the right, which I showed earlier. So at the moment in this room, which is my office, it's saying it's in manual mode because it's showing the hand. But if I go into here, I'll see the calendar, which puts it into schedule. And then if I want to amend that schedule, I click edit, which is the little pencil. So that's one way to get into it. The other way is to go to the settings menu, and then you'll see at the top schedules. When you go into schedules, then you get a full list of your rooms. And if you click, that then gives you the ability to go back into that same page. They both get you to the same location. It's kind of personal preference, I guess, as to which one you use. I always access mine from the room view, but you know, this way is also fine. And then what you will see is a list of events. So this is the bit that's probably going to be a little bit harder to see, so apologies for that. But what you'll see is a list of events, and each event has a start and an end date, end time, sorry. And the beginning time of, say, this schedule, this event, will be the end of this one. If you want to amend, you simply click on the event, and then it will give you the option to change the time. So if, for example, I wanted this to start a little earlier at 6 instead, I can change the time, but I can also change the temperature. So I can say I also want it to be a little bit warmer, and I'll move that temperature up and click save. You can delete a schedule. So if I think, oh, actually, I don't really want this one anymore, I click on it, and then you've got the option to delete here. So then you can see the number of events in my day is reduced. You can have up to 8 events in a day. So you can make these schedules pretty complex, kind of depending on how the customer is living. The other thing that is good for sort of time saving is if you've got a customer who's got kind of quite a set routine, say in the week, and they want to maintain schedules across the week, you can use copy. So if you click here, what you'll see then is a list of the days. So if, for example, in my office, I wanted it to come on Monday to Friday, but then I don't use it at the weekend, I could select those days in the week, Monday to Friday, click save, and that will then copy that exact schedule across the room, across the days. But equally, you can, have completely different schedules on every day. It's really up to the customer. So that's schedules. And then the other thing I wanted to just take you through was the device page. There's quite a lot of interesting or useful information that people can get on the device page, which is found in the settings menu, which is just here. And then you'll see that devices is the third one down, which is here. So what you'll get then is a list of all the devices that are in your system. So it's useful to see, for example, in my lounge, I've got 2 radiators, so I can see both the rad stats for that room, and I can see all the devices in one place rather than seeing it via the room view. And what it also shows is the battery status. So it's a good place for customers to come to see how their batteries are doing and whether they need to replace any. So all of mine look really good at the moment. Apart from when I look at the hallway, which looks like I might need to keep an eye on it. The other thing you can do from this menu when you go in to an individual device, so this is the individual device page, you can activate something called device lock. So what that means is the physical controls of the device can't be used. So if we take the example I used earlier of trying to boost from the rad stat, if that device is locked, it means that it can't be accessed, it can't be used in that way. So it's quite useful for people with like young children, or maybe if you've got guests and you don't want them to play around with the heating. So to lock the device, you just come into this page, you click down here, and then you'll see there you've got a small button. And when you click the button, that locks the device, and you'll know if it's worked because you'll see here a little padlock symbol. So that shows you that the device is locked. And then it can't be unlocked until you come back in, or the customer comes back into the app and unlocks it, and then it's obviously good to go again. So that's the device page. The other thing that I've touched upon, but I'm not going to go into detail today because there'll be another session, is just the modes. So the modes are also in that settings page. You can see you've got eco mode, comfort mode, and away mode. Eco mode is designed really to help maximize energy savings by switching the heating off ahead of schedule if it's able to. Comfort mode is to make sure the heating is ready at the set point for the time you've scheduled. So if, for example, I wanted my lounge to be 21 degrees at 7, comfort mode, if it was on, might kick in the heating at say 20 to 7 to make sure that it got there in time. And then away mode sets a set temperature as for when you leave the house. If the default is 16 degrees, but the customer can change that to be what they want it to be. They could even have it completely off if that's how they want to use away mode. But there will be another session on that. So that's everything on the key features. Ryan, one of our engineering managers, is going to be here in a couple of weeks' time, and he's going to take you through a bit more detail on the modes, then some of the smart home features, so voice control, IFTTT, just to give you kind of the next level down on all those features that you can talk to your customers about. And then finally, if you want to get more information, if you want to see more trainings, get more detail, then don't forget to go to the 9 Degree Network page, and you can get all of that information on there. It's also where you can become WISER approved if you're not already, and it's just a great place to find resources. But for now, thanks everybody, and stay safe.